Awesome. Our wonderful tech support supporting us. Um, if you would like, anyone is welcome to turn on their camera. We love seeing your faces, but if you're not comfortable or you're busy, then that is perfectly all right as well. So welcome everyone to our second Q&A for the Bright Lights of Denver. My name is Ryan Streeter. I am, I suppose, I guess the founder, the progenitor of this project. Um,
Okay.
Something like that. I'm a journalist, and I started this project focusing in on just the history of Denver and the millennials moving here who are transforming the city. And it went from a fairly innocuous project to trying to look for our friend. So definitely took a turn that we didn't expect, but um, we've been grateful to be on this journey with you all.
And I'm Preston McCall. I am been living here in Denver, and Taylor is one of my best friends, as is Ryan. And when Taylor went missing, we just wanted to do everything we could to try to figure out what happened. So yeah, and here we are. And thanks to you folks. You all have helped a lot, and we're just excited and happy to have y'all here.
Yeah, so we're going to take a second to go over what has happened since the last conversation. If you weren't here during the last Q&A, welcome. We're very happy to have you. Um, and if you're listening to this in the future, and for some reason you haven't heard episodes 3 and 4, then just you can stop here and go and listen to those episodes. So we won't ruin them for you. But yeah, a lot has really happened in the last couple of weeks, and so as a brief overview, so we had discovered the pad in Taylor's house.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to figure out essentially like what's the deal with this pad, and so we met with Arthur, and Arthur told us about. He's known Taylor for a long time. They've worked together in various capacities, taken Taylor's classes, and so he told us that there had been a building, an old strip mall actually in Aurora, that corresponded with a set of the addresses. And so that was interesting in and of itself. But then he had said that the building was actually, someone had put in an application to preserve the building. And it was at that point where he revealed to us that it was under the name of an architect who is in fact deceased. So that was unusual to learn.
Red flag.
Yeah, and so yeah, exactly. And so Arthur's theory was that it was actually Taylor who was the one who put in this historic designation application under a different name. And so then we started finding other addresses as well. What was the deal with these other addresses?
Yeah, the Azatlan, and that one matched the 976, and then El Taco de Mexico matched 714. Those numbers on his pad that we had found in his apartment. And I think one of you actually in our last Q&A mentioned if the numbers had any significance or not. And so I guess they do. There's still a couple numbers that we just haven't quite figured out yet. So we're still trying to figure out what those buildings are and what they could be, and if there's any preservation going on with it that's the same thing, because right now it seems to kind of not be, it seems to kind of all connect. There were these old historic buildings that have this designation now, that Taylor maybe was, I don't know, trying to help out with, trying to save, trying to do something. So so that was a huge kind of realization for us.
Yeah, and Arthur also talked about, so one of you had also asked last time about, is there any importance with the Landmark Preservation Commission? Could it have been that somebody was, threatening him or some sort of foul play in that sense? So we learned from Arthur that the Landmark Preservation Commission is in fact very important, and it's a mayor-appointed commission that apparently is very prestigious. And so it seems like there are a lot of stakes going on with that project. It's still, even after Arthur's simplification of it, it's still kind of hard to wrap my head around what the sort of day-to-day looks like, but it does seem very important. And so lots of buildings that are either up for preservation or not, it seems to be very closely tied in with the Landmark Commission. So we also talked to Marcus.
Yeah, we met Marcus. Awesome dude. Hopefully we can grab a burger and a beer with him sometime soon. Marcus, if you're listening, let's do that. Marcus had kind of seen some of the murals and the one at the Azatlan. That kind of helped clue us in on the connection with the Azatlan Theater. And then we got some weird text messages.
We got some very strange text messages from what was originally a mystery person telling us to stop the recording, stop the project. It felt like I was in a movie, or we were in a movie, but not in a good way.
Not a fun one.
Not in a good way at all. And so this person ended up wanting to meet with us. She originally said that I couldn't bring Preston, and then I was like, I'm definitely going to bring Preston. And so we went over to Confluence Park and received a phone call from a woman who apparently was with Taylor and saw him, or was with him rather, I should say, the next morning, which we didn't know because the trail kind of ended in the middle of the night before, so that added a new dimension of like, oh, he was okay also in the morning. And so this person didn't really reveal who they were, and they didn't even end up meeting us, unfortunately, even though they asked us to come to this park.
They were watching us?
Yeah,
maybe?
That was very creepy. Almost had to call the police.
A little too much for me.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it was good to know that Taylor was still okay the next morning.
Yeah, I mean, that was more information that we didn't have.
Yeah. So that's I would say those are the main points, and I've decided to stick around here, the good old 303, for a little while, just to continue connecting. This is a wonderful place, and I think there are a lot more stories that can be told about this city. So, that being said, we got a flood of questions from a number of different sources. Some from social media. And so do you want to answer some now, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do that. There was one that I saw on social media that I thought was a great question. It's on our Bright Lights Instagram page, and it's from Austin Walker. And so he's saying how Ryan said that he didn't think the woman who last saw Taylor and the driver of the black Mercedes are the same person. Who do you think was driving the car? Who do you think was driving the car?
That's a good question, Press. Maybe it was the mayor of Denver.
Oh gosh! Oh no!
No, it wasn't really. I don't know. So we just talked about the Landmark Preservation Commission. It seems like a lot of these buildings, I mean, they're in areas that are being developed. And so I'm like, I don't know if it was some shady character that had to do with, these real estate interests or money interests. I don't know how this world really works. But as a journalist, I do know that the rabbit hole can get deep if you dig deep enough.
Well, and we dug, and it got
It got weird.
It got a little weird and scary. Yeah. So, I mean,
I can only imagine how much farther it could have gone.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you. I think it might have been the same person.
Think it was that woman?
Yeah, I mean, she was like creeping on us from afar. So like maybe she was creeping on Taylor, like in her black Mercedes. I don't know, but yeah. So thank you, Austin, for the question.
There's another question here on social media. Someone asked, "Do we know where Taylor met this mystery woman?" No, no,
not really.
We know that they were together at the cruise room.
Yeah, I mean, unless Taylor's meeting a bunch of different women, probably it's her, and then maybe again the next morning.
Right, but like where they first met each other, even how they're connected.
Yeah,
I'm really not sure.
Yeah,
but she seems to know things about what he's doing.
Yeah, she seems to be. I mean, I guess that's. If she were the person driving the Mercedes, she's got to be a little higher up. She's got that cash money. But
maybe somebody's bankrolling it. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It's hard to know. So Maybe let's do one more.
Okay.
And then we can open it up to you all.
Perfect. Let's see here. Here's a good question. Have you ever seen him online on social? And no. I mean, I always check constantly. Like if I haven't heard from someone, I'm like, okay, when was the last time they were online? And I mean, unless Taylor got really good at tech and hiding his tracks or something, but or maybe, I mean, unless, yeah, I don't know. I've not seen anything.
Yeah, and there are so many apps now where whether it's Snapchat or these other apps where like you can kind of sometimes see on maps like where people are.
Yeah, that's right.
But Taylor, I don't think he's been using his phone, so
yeah, I mean, he hasn't answered
so
anything.
Press is a lot more on top of social media stuff than I am. You're far more active, but I haven't seen any evidence of him being online anyway.
And if he has been online and he isn't answering any of my calls or texts, then I'm just going to be mad. So
there's your warning, Taylor, if you're listening.
If you're listening, hopefully, maybe. So.
All right, so we are going to take a second and open it up to all of you. What questions or thoughts do you have for us? And this is an open forum, so you can just feel free to, I mean, if we have a large queue, you can raise your hand or whatever, but you can just feel free to unmute and introduce yourself. Or you can type in the chat as well, if you would just like to ask a question. Are there any questions out there? Or thoughts, statements, etc.?
I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you want to mute yours? Oh, I can hear myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you do have a bit of an echo. I'm not sure.
Colin? Awesome. Hey, Colin.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We can, yep.
Okay, sorry, I had to fix a technical thing there. Okay, so I don't know if I really have a question. I just have like thoughts.
Yeah, please.
Like talking it out. Well, assuming it's Taylor that's filing these applications to preserve these buildings, my question is like, why is he trying to preserve these buildings, right? Are they the buildings themselves? Are they maybe the artwork or murals that come along with them? Because of his Instagram, he's been kind of posting these murals that he's been to that also kind of match with some of these buildings, right? So like there's that connection with these addresses and these buildings with the artwork. Maybe he's trying to preserve something, preserve maybe local artists, the artwork, the murals, or maybe just the historical significance of the buildings. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to like kind of figure out here. Sorry, the dog. He has some thoughts too. I also noticed that a couple of these buildings with the addresses that are matching these buildings, if that's what they are, they also have like a couple of them have like a cultural significance, the Aslan Theater and El Taco de Mexico. Similar Mexican theme. Maybe he's trying to preserve a significant cultural aspect of it. But yeah, I just don't think it's a coincidence that he posted these murals on his Instagram beforehand, and all of a sudden he's after the fact gone missing, and after the fact also filed these applications to preserve these buildings with the same exact murals that he posted on Instagram. And then the Mexico connection and all these things that it's just trying to connect the dots. Maybe he's telling us where he might be. Mexico, maybe, I don't know. Maybe. But yeah.
Never
Can we go to Mexico?
And then I started thinking about like DB Cooper, and he was in that book, and I know he didn't go to Mexico, but he wanted to go to Mexico. So I think he's maybe trying, I guess another question is he trying to preserve something? and what is he trying to preserve and why? Or is he just maybe trying to prevent some real estate developers from something he thinks is going to happen? And who are these developers? And what kind of deal is about to go down? And who's he protecting? Or what is he protecting in that aspect? So I don't know where the question is and all that, but there's definitely all these connections going on and all these things. And I don't know. What is
Yeah, no, we appreciate the theory. I've never thought about the Mexico thing.
I
Maybe
know.
he's trying to
Well,
send us code that he's in fact across the
just
border
eating tacos and drinking margaritas in Mexico,
Yeah,
which I mean,
with cool muralists. And
yeah, why don't you invite us?
But no, I mean, what we do know from our investigation is, yeah, these buildings do have significance. And like, as I was telling Preston in our recording, like I had driven by the Aslan so many different times. And I literally didn't even go inside for the first time until a couple days after we went there. And I was like, oh, this is a really cool place. And Marcus was telling us about that mural and how it's been there for a really long time. And so it really just seems like there is a lot of cultural richness. And I'm sure through Taylor's work as an architect, a lot of that is disappearing. And so, yeah, I think it's good to think about it. I think that's a very sound theory.
I mean, Taylor is such a passionate person. When you're talking about the murals, that kind of was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like of course he's passionate about this, this art, this public art that's there for everyone, and he's very passionate about stuff like that. And so, I mean, gosh, it doesn't seem totally out of place if he were trying. I mean, I could definitely see it within the realm of possibility that he's trying to save something. He wants to preserve these things if they're going to not be there soon. So yeah. I can definitely see that. If you and your dog are in the right space, I don't know.
The dog made some especially salient points. So good on that. Are there any other questions or thoughts? All right. Doesn't seem like it. So, I mean, maybe we should share some of our own, thoughts and theories real quick. I mean, Preston, what do you think? What do you think about everything we've learned over these last few weeks?
I really do think Taylor's okay. I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be kind of a blubbering mess all the time. But I really do. I mean, think that he's okay. It just seems like there was something that had him scared, maybe, or I mean, in the dealings that we've had, like at Confluence Park, like that scared me a lot. That's the most uncomfortable I felt, just being out in public space. Someone saying, "Oh, I'm watching you," like.
And you're a tough cookie, so.
Yeah.
Not easily rattled.
No, and that just like that felt really strange. And so I mean, and Taylor especially, like I can see him getting rattled by if he got in with the wrong crowd and was messing with something that maybe he shouldn't have. So maybe he's trying to preserve himself a little bit too, and just stay out of harm's way. In which case, I would hope I hope that he's continuing to stay out of harm's way. But yeah, I mean, I think we've come a long way in the past couple of weeks and learned a lot. I never even knew the Landmark Preservation Committee was a thing. So learning a lot about Denver and this town that we live in, which is really cool as well. So it's been good.
Yeah, I've learned so much about architecture these last few weeks.
Right.
And, I really have learned to pay attention to the city and its changes quite a bit. So yeah, I also, some of you asked last time, do we think he's okay? Yes, I personally believe he's okay, echoing what Preston just said. Yeah, maybe he just got overwhelmed and hit the eject button. But we have a lot of good leads. And unfortunately, we've kind of, we've sort of hit the end for now. But, the police and the detectives, they all have some really good information, and we'll keep funneling any and all information that we get to them.
Yeah. So. I mean, we're not going to stop looking for Taylor. This is, basically the main point. But I think we just decided for now, just with the podcast and everything, like we just need to take a moment, you know, live our lives as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if y'all keep hearing, you know, anything, or, you know, feel free to DM us on Instagram. You know how to get a hold of us if there's any thoughts. If Colin, you put the little things together and and figure something amazing out, like we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're not going to stop searching. I'm just gonna focus on some self-care a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for being on this journey with us.
Yeah.
It's been really amazing to see all the support and interest in this story. And I was driving back from up north before this meeting earlier, and I was just looking at the bright lights of Denver, and I was just thinking to myself, there's so much beauty here. And because of Taylor's story, I've come to appreciate that beauty so much more. So thank you for being on this Bright Lights journey with us, and we hope that this is not the last time that we talk.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.